Hey, welcome back to France Made Simple, the podcast where I tell you all about life in France, reveal all my tips, tricks, and insider know how, and highlight just some of the mistakes I've made during my 23 plus years living here, hopefully, so that you don't have to. Anyway, we've got something a bit different today. By popular request, I'm answering questions, and the first one I've had in is, why did you come to France? Well, that is a very good question, and I probably watched way too many episodes of A Place in the Sun back in the 90s when we were all obsessed with those programmes like Move to the Country and a New Life in Benidorm, and we all watched Amanda Lamb and co prancing around ruined fincas, telling people that for €5,000 you could turn this into some wheelchair-friendly sheets, and couples standing there saying, "Ooh, I could really see myself sitting on this terrace drinking my coffee in the morning." Maybe there was an element of that. There was also, more realistically, the fact that I'd always felt really at home in France, and every time I came here on holiday, I felt like I'd come home. I also wanted my three children to grow up bilingual, and I also was very, very aware of all the advantages that France has for families and family life. So I think there was a bit of a mixture, really. It was wanting to create a new life that was better for the family, loving France anyway, which I'd felt in love with France, the people, the place since a very early age, and probably feeling a bit bored and frustrated with my life in the UK and wanting to try something else. So a whole combination of reasons. The second mistake, there you go, there's the mistake. The second question is, what has been your biggest mistake? And again, quite a tricky one to answer because there's been so many along the way. I would say probably the biggest one was not keeping some kind of a foothold in terms of a property in the UK, given the way the UK property market always increases and the French property market outside of big cities just doesn't. And this is why so many expats and so many people who've moved to France cannot now afford to move back to the UK, or it's very difficult, or if they do and they find that after even a couple of decades here, they've been very happy, they want to go back to be closer to children and grandchildren, they find that very, very difficult financially and may end up living either in a place they don't particularly want to move back to, or certainly a property that's not ideal. So I think my biggest mistake was not trying to hang on to some form of property in the UK, even if we'd swapped our sort of family home there for a small flat. That would have made things a lot more comfortable going forward and given me some options in the future. For the moment, I'm perfectly happy here, but it's always good to have some kind of financial options available. The next question is, would you do it all over again? Yes, definitely, without a doubt. France has been very good to me and my family. We've had some wonderful times, lots of adventures. The kids have done stuff they would never get to do in the UK. They've gone on skiing holidays, diving holidays, motorbiking holidays. They've had ponies in the back garden. They've learnt to surf. They've learnt to ski. All of those things require a significant amount of money and income in the UK, and they're much more available in France to far more kind of normal families, if you like. So would I do it again? Absolutely. It's been really hard at times. It's particularly hard at the moment for personal reasons, but I don't regret a minute of my French adventure. The next one's a bit easier. Well, say that, but it's not actually. What's your favourite French dish? And again, this is really hard actually because it's really hard to pick one. I didn't look at any of these questions beforehand or think about my answers. I thought I'd just do it off the top of my head. So, favourite French dish? Oh God, I can't actually. I was going to say confit de canard and homemade chips because we had that a couple of nights ago and it was amazing. But then there are so many things. We also had literally a tin of cassoulet in the week, but that's our kind of cheap meal in this household. But Very nice it was too. Steak and chips, anything and chips. All the classic French blanquette de veau, that kind of thing. No, I can't choose a favourite French dish, but I suppose if I absolutely had to, it probably would be confit de canard. And the last one, what's been your greatest achievement? Well, again, that's tricky, because are we talking about my life in France or life in general? If it's life in general, my greatest achievement has definitely been my 3 children, who are pretty awesome, amazing, and epic, if you're listening. So you cut me some slack there, kids. If it's been my achievements while living in France, I would say surviving the whole experience, because it's not always easy, and sometimes moving to another country and starting all over again and kind of reinventing yourself and the way you live and your lifestyle is tough. So I would say surviving the whole experience. And surviving is very much why I launched the website survivefrance.com, which we started in 2009. It's now the biggest forum, website, information portal for English speakers in France. Not just British people, we have a lot of American members, Australians, other Europeans, and people from all around the world. But the one sort of theme there is, okay, the name's a bit tongue-in-cheek. We're not in Gaza here. We're not getting bombs dropped on our heads. The worst thing that's going to happen is there's a Yorkshire tea bag crisis going down. But on a day-to-day basis, French administration, bureaucracy, getting things done, coping with everything in a foreign language is quite tough. And when you do survive it and get through it, you do feel quite proud of yourself. And I think living overseas, living in another country, in another culture, has made me grow and develop as a person. I think I'm braver than I would have been otherwise, having taken that leap and taken that plunge and moved here. So I would say greatest achievement has just been surviving. Thank you for listening. Only a short one today, but as I said, something quite different. Hope that was fun and interesting, maybe enlightening. Thank you as always to our sponsors, Fab French Insurance, who will make your life as simple as Frenchly possible. And I'll see you next time.